Hey there, so today we have another review. This is a beer courtesy of McMahon, and thank you so much. Again, really nice of you just to drop beers on me. Sometimes, usually, people will send me an email. Hey man, I'm sending you more beer, but he just drops them on me. Appreciate it. This is all the way from the West Coast. By the way, the shot's a little tighter, so the post comps below, if you like tighter or you want me to get pushed back a bit. This is from Shred Beer Company, so out of Rockland, California. West Coast IPA, Aroma Spider, Nectaron Cryo, Nectaron Simcoe, HPC 586, their Cryo 2, and then Mosaic, 7%. And then it's actually pretty cool. It's Aroma Spider. And the Spider is actually a thing that Yakima Chief Hops actually uses, and the other hop companies, but sort of like this is a spider graph, and it's used by the hop companies to sort of describe the hop profile, flavor profile of a hop. Instead of gnarly, dope, rad, blah, 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 I would do like citrus and pine, woodsy, like this way you get a kind of visual idea of like what the hops will give you. So cool that they like integrate that into the brand of the beer. First off, this beer is dumb pale. Like, what the hell is this guy? It looks like freaking lager. It's straw colored, has a nice clarity to it, maybe a bit of chill haze to it, but West Coast IPA is crazy. Very nice. Reminds me a little bit of the Pliny for President. That was more Southern Hemisphere based, as in like more thiol heavy, but quite aromatic. Reminds me a little bit of Headhunter. I'm thinking like pear candies, peach rings, light melon character, grass jelly from the Mosaic, grass melon, cantaloupe, a little bit of dankness, wonderful like touch of sweetness too, not quite thiol-y, but like almost like lychee, and again, it's all these kind of like pear, green apple, like these kind of like palish kind of fruits. Like if you cut into a fruit, it's probably going to be like white-ish, white pear. Yeah, all these like palish kind of fruit characteristics. Nothing too orange or, yeah, I don't get, again, I think of fruits in a category, so like not really orange, yellow. I get green, but also not like red berry or purple, which would be like a grape. White for sure, maybe a little bit of like a like kind of like Sauvignon Blanc character. So like not super thiol-y, but a little bit of that kind of action going on. Yeah, follows with the nose. Follows with those kind of like, again, grassy notes, green tea, almost like a honeyed sweetness in there. Cantaloupe, pear, ripe pear, juicy pear. A little bit of this kind of like lychee, longan thing going on, a little bit of grassiness. Very, very like bland to non-existent kind of malt character, grainy, very lager-ish, but like, and then the bitterness, it hits like maybe mid-palate, but it's very tame for 7% beer. Again, full blind, I would have guessed this was like I wouldn't guess it's 7%. I would guess it's like a 6% imperial dry hop to lager or something. But this is how they're building West Coast IPAs these days. And I think I saw it on Beer Advocate, and they're sort of like dissecting these West Coast IPAs in two different styles. What we think of West Coast IPAs and classics like Sierra Nevada Torpedo, Stone IPA, blah, blah, blah. They had some more malt character to it and more bitterness. Now these beers are, again, full blind. I would have guessed it's like a take on West Coast dry hopped imperial lager. And I think that's what breweries are doing these days. So McMahon and the other guys from the West Coast, you can post in the console below, when did this happen? Because it's hit. This is what's hitting now. Like breweries are doing, like Green Cheek is using lager yeast on their IPAs, full Pilsner malt, Russian River is doing it too, and they're stripping away everything they can and making these beers really just like, again, the recipe, like just looking at it, almost looks like a like West Coast lager, like West Coast dry hop lager. Super hoppy, pull back on the malt, pull back on the yeast characteristics. And honestly, for me, I want more bitterness too. So it really doesn't have this West Coast punch to it. So it really is, again, if you haven't been touching this stuff in a minute, in a few years, you're in for like a revelation. This stuff has very little resemblance to what a quote unquote West Coast IPA is, or was. This is what West Coast IPA is now, I guess, which in my mind is literally two different styles. This tastes nothing like what I would categorize as a West Coast IPA, but again, it's 2024. beer changes. Wow. Very tasty stuff. Again, I wish saturated hop character. I very much enjoy that. I'm going to give it a solid 93. I'm not dinging it points for not quote unquote being West Coast IPA. Like, like I bet like some OG guys would give this guy like, oh, this tastes nothing like it. It deserves like an 80 or something. Like, this is fine liquid. Very tasty. Again, full blind, I would never guess this was a West Coast IPA, but the liquid's tasty. Very saturated, beautiful hop character, lean and mean malt, and really not much bitterness to speak of. So I very much enjoy it. 93 is a great rating. Cheers. Let me know what you think. Post comments below about this evolution of West Coast IPA. What a world we live in. Later.